Madagascar. To say I was in Madagascar is not wrong. I spent a week on the island. To say I know or understand a lot about the place would be a lie. Finally, to say that on leaving I took with me vivid and lasting impressions is true. By definition, every place is unique. Still, some places stand out even among the unique. Madagascar is one of those. Nature, people, history sets the island apart. In a few days, going to a place in the north and in the south, stopping over in the capital, you cannot see a lot of such a big and diverse country. I've not even seen the whole buffet, let alone tasted all the goodies on offer. I had the pleasure to enjoy some tasty morsels, nothing more than an appetizer, but one worth reporting on. Thursday morning, checking in for the domestic flight to Tulea. This provides the first opportunity to get into contact, even physically speaking, with Malgache reality. Nothing extraordinary here. What was nice, however, was some music later while sitting outside, watching, waiting to board. The plane is not new but arrives. At the airport, everyone knows everyone. As my correspondent is not on time, I take a taxi and make it to my meeting in spite of not even really knowing where it is. Small place, everyone knows everyone. Well, here's a picture of the Renault 4 taxi cab I took. A working day, passing several times through the city center and some of the sort of bigger avenues. So far, just another third world country. In the evening, going out to eat. Some small restaurant not far from the hotel. What strikes is the darkness of the night. Explication? Little street lighting around. Secondly, the silence. Explanation. Few cars and the rickshaws, drawn by men, not motorcycles. They do not make much noise. Well, here you have some of the rickshaws and some of the bigger avenues. Nothing really worth reporting. It's on the second day, afternoon off, that I start penetrating a bit further, walking a lot, observing. People are friendly and quiet, poor most of all. It takes time to forget Europe, deadlines and credit cards. I'm not yet here. Walking is a good way to get closer, even if locals are at times a bit surprised to see the white guy walking all alone. But this is a country where you are not hassled. Some looks, that's about it. Saturday at my disposal. There are some beaches quite a few kilometers away. There's the town, where the best you can do is sleep your day away. Going to the capital by road, crossing the mountains, looking at gorgeous landscapes, I do not have the time. There's also an arboretum on the outskirts of the city. I like trees, so this is the place to go. It turns out to be more than just an arboretum. It's also a sort of Noah's Ark for endangered plants, functioning on solar energy. A small restaurant, while I'm there, no other tourists visit. A biology student is my guide, and off we go for the tour of the trees. For once, I take the time available. That means I do not hurry. I'm not like some madman. A slow and intensive walk. I listen to the guide, even if I do not remember many details about all the incredible plants found only on the island. The baobab, some cacti, not a lot more, is still present in my mind. The chameleon as well, some birds maybe. Also the gentleness of the student. Well, here we've got the student with some baobab in the background. What does rest is the contact, yes, even communication with the plant life. understanding a bit about their environment, their problems. Enter into another world. Almost all plants are very slow growing. We are on a different time scale here, very solitary for my restless racing mind. Well, here you got another baobab with his antenna capturing, receiving some message from the universe. Well, here, or maybe it's like antlers, like these stakes. Well, anyhow, it got me, it impressed me a lot. And here, well, some kind of insect flying around, or maybe it's a colibri, I don't really remember. Later, lone lunch, I'm the only customer. Looking at trees and plants, reading a bit, writing a bit. Eventually the taxi driver comes back and picks me up. I had my first taste of a bit of real Madagascar, even it was under laboratory conditions and largely without people. Of course, these plants were there long before men. They are the real natives. Well, restaurant. It's only the next morning and even more the next day that I realize I've started to like the taste. I relaxed at the airport, waiting, meeting someone who does know the country on the plane, and listening, learning a lot. Passing the afternoon in the Anatolian Zoo. Well, actually it's a Sunday now, so I'm between two visits. So this zoo, very sad affair, more prison camp for animals than anything else. Result, the malgache dish becomes even more tempting, in spite of the animals which are mistreated. All, of course, is not well. Mismanaged economy, destruction of nature, underdevelopment. Middle-age ideas in the heads of many countryside dwellers. It is the absence of haste, of aggressiveness, of hassle, which is so attractive. It helps, of course, that I'm lucky and everything works just fine. No delays, no planes cancelled, all people met friendly. These are ingredients for success. As said, not surprisingly, the zoo is a rather sad affair. Cages too small, animals rather depressed, quite a few empty boxes. I do like the giant tortoises. Luck smiles on me and one of them moves about. They for once have a huge territory, and it's like seeing a dinosaur coming to life. In slow motion, I should say. Should add. Well, here I've got one of these huge tortoises. And then one of these semi-monkeys. It's indigenous species. Well, rather sad. Next day to the north. Ansaranana, or better known under its colonial name of Diego Suarez. The town is featuring a beautiful bay, a charming center, a small, quite active port, and a shipyard, among other things. As far as town and port are concerned, the basic infrastructure is the same as 20 or 30 years ago. Commercial life is not exiled to some concrete and crane wasteland 20 kilometers outside of town. The port, the business and historical art still be right in the middle of the city. Diego is not really Madagascar, it is an international place, for centuries a stop on the trade routes along the African east coast. Nowadays it lives a bit in a time warp, or was when I was there in the beginning of the 2000s, and is mainly a tuna port. Still, a lot of the old glory is still palpable. I spent 3 days blending without any difficulty into the local scene. Even if Diego is certainly not nature Madagascar, it is still people Madagascar. The short time I have and the fact that I'm on business, not a holiday trip, make that I see very little of nature. But contact with the locals is no problem. Plenty of opportunity provided. The effect Diego has on me is to set my mind free. It starts flying, imagining, seeing things not obvious before. Back and forth I wander the town. Night, a generous helping of rum and Coca-Cola, make craziness seem even more normal. What is vital in the cocktail is the absence of fear, aggression. Even late at night, even not very attentive, even with the hotel room door only symbolically locked, I'm not occupied with worries about assault or theft. Roaming, drifting, open, defenses down. Well, here I've got my hotel and the room. Yeah, basic comfort. There was an air conditioner and a bed and light. It is probably one of the reasons why new ideas dare to come into the open. There is no danger in letting Diego enter into my present. No energy vampires here, no aggressive selling, not even in the souvenir shop. Well, street scene with the ubiquitous Renault 4. Of course I was lucky. The place is poor and certainly life is not always and everywhere so peaceful. What I took home, what I experienced was nevertheless this quiet peacefulness described above. Well, this is a view from some kind of monument, and behind is the port. You can discern a ship in the background, other side of the bay. This was a marketplace. Nowadays I think it's some kind of French cultural center. Another street scene. The flight back to the capital is with a small plane and stopover in the green middle of nowhere. Wow. A sort of nature biscuit. Then a few hours to spend at the airport of Antananarivo before the flight back to Europe. It is quiet. Night falls, almost no flights. Mine is late in the evening. I walk up and down the main road in front of the airport. A side road with some tea stalls hang around in the cafeteria. I talk to a backpacker who spent more time than I on the island, who saw more of nature, and shares my feeling about the uniqueness of the place. Finally the plane is ready. I'm off, leaving something of me behind and taking something of Madagascar with me. Well, 2 more pictures of this famous airport in the middle of nowhere. Yes, I was lucky that everything worked out fine. Thank you.